I could also. I can't turn more light. I mean, I guess I could turn more lights on because it's like there's lights over there. But hey, it is
Robo's
what
in
it is.
darkness mode, so
You know what it is? It's what you call it? Ain't this week coming up when the clocks go back or forward or whatever?
yeah, it's gonna be until the final whistle after dark.
Yeah, after dark, baby. Also, welcome everyone to the 8th volume of Until the Final Whistle. We have a question this week because I remembered. Cheevers, after last night, Lamar Jackson is the fifth quarterback to throw five touchdowns and rush for 50 yards. Can you name the other four?
I hope Vic did it once.
He is not. He is not. It is not Mr. Michael Vick.
Sigh.
He is not.
Oh shit.
I will say the
RG3.
The three of the four are still active players that are in the league now.
Mariota.
No, man.
Come on, dog. Jaden Daniels.
No.
Oh shit.
Mahomes? I'll give you. Okay, one. He did it in a playoff game. That's
Allen.
one. Two, did it in a playoff game. I ain't gonna lie. One's not active right now. He's also on First Take now. I'll give you that.
It's not Orlovsky.
No, I said First Take. Oh, well, he's on First Take sometimes.
He goes on First Take.
He does.
There's another quarterback that goes on First Take.
Yeah, you literally talked about it, like in the group chat. Literally posted about it.
I posted about it.
Yes, literally.
That's not a good sign.
Literally posted about him.
What the fuck kind of quarterbacks they be having on First Take? That's not Orlovsky.
He just got hired. Just
got hired. Oh, Cam Newton.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not
even. If you couldn't even get him, I'm not even going to let you get the other guy. He's still a league.
Give me 5 seconds. Damn. Oh, damn. I was never going in that direction.
Yeah, I know you're never going to get those, but it's all good, bro. It's all good. But yes, I am Nolo Green. Welcome.
I wanted the one and only Cheevers, aka Cold, because I don't have the heat on the apartment yet. Because I hate turning the heat on and off because we are in that time of year. So I just be sitting here being cold.
Oh, bro, I don't turn my heat on. My heat does not come on. You know how cold outside it has to be for me to turn my heat on? I will sit in this bitch like this. Hold on.
Oh, Lord.
Like this before I turn my heat on in this bitch. And it's not even because I'm like cheaper than I just don't be wanting to turn my heat on.
Ah, the warmth of disappointment.
Oh. I know. Hey, man. Hey, you should know it. You know it all too well.
Look, man. It's a new day.
It's a new day. Look at you. You was out here, and we go back just a few pods ago. You was out here dying.
Misery. I was out here sad. That shit would have said Cheapers, a.k.a. sad.
Oh, man. But, hey. So we're going to start off with last night because that was the most recent thing that happened. And I think it's safe to say that your leading candidate for MVP of the NFL is the same guy from last year, Lamar Jackson.
I want to say something before we get too far into the Lamar Jackson talk, because I heard something earlier. Right before we started, I was watching some First Take highlights, mainly because they was barking about your boy Jerry Jones, but we're not going to talk about that.
I don't want to talk about it.
They spent the entire first half of the video, which I didn't realize they were going to do, talking about Lamar Jackson. And I'm not taking his performance away. And I agree that he is an MVP candidate. I don't think he's the current front runner. It's not the guy I used to say. He had a terrible game last night. Poor Bake May. He ain't got no receivers no more. Anyways, they were talking about using Lamar Jackson's stats right now to say how he's a clear favorite and then say how much better he was than last year's MVP campaign. Which all that tells me is, and I don't know how many times we've had to say this on here, I don't even know how he won MVP last year, honestly. That was not an MVP season. He was just maybe the best quarterback, and they wanted to ruin the award. Fair. But I think right now, when you look at what Jared Goff is doing with his outrageously high completion percentage, I think he is the current MVP frontrunner ahead of Lamar Jackson. Now, do I
my bad, go ahead.
do I think Goff will sustain it the entire season like Lamar? Probably not, but we're talking about right now.
And I respect that answer. And I am with it. I'm not agreeing with you. I'm still going with Lamar Jackson because if we had to, I don't think Lamar had. I think the worst game Lamar has had this year is the game with the Raiders. I think that's probably the worst game that they had. And ever since they went 0-2, they've been cooking. A whole team on all cylinders. And the catalyst of that team and the best player on that team is Lamar Jackson. Quickly behind, also followed behind Derrick Henry. But yes. But Lamar Jackson has continued to get better and better. Who, even when the first game went, even though in a loss, you can't say he ain't played well because that man was out there running against the best defense in the NFL, going crazy, doing his thing. Almost brought him back. Almost brought the Ravens back to win that game, or at least to tie it. If Isaiah Likely feet was just a tad bit smaller.
Feet too big.
It too big. He got the KD syndrome. It's all good, baby. It's all good. But yeah, I honestly am not upset with the Jared Goff candidacy because he's been doing his thing. He cooked my team. He cooked the Vikings, the one of the better defenses in the NFL on Sunday. He is even though the Seahawks team he went up against was downtrodden and sad that defense was, he still went 18 for 18 and had a perfect game still. So can't be, hey man, you went up against who you went up against and you cooked them. And Jared Goff has been going crazy.
One thing I want to add to the Lamar Jackson situation to give him more praise, even though I don't want to because I don't like Baltimore being good, but there's nothing I can do about it. No. One more thing you can add to it, and again, I think it's just an indictment to how they've kind of ruined this award and made it a quarterback thing, and he probably shouldn't have won last year. But if you really look at it, you put him and Goff side by side this year. One of those players is playing with a defense that isn't good. Baltimore's defense this year is not the Baltimore defense that we've seen in the past. They like to give up a lot of points. So it's Jared Goff doesn't have to completely take over a game, kind of like Lamar does. We saw in the game against us, like him and Burrow were trading haymakers all the way up to the end. And it's like the defense wasn't going to win that game for him. So he's going to have to do it. Meanwhile, in Detroit, Brian Branch, probably one of the best young safeties we got in the game right now. And then an unfortunate injury to Aiden Hutchinson might derail some of that. But just for the sake of variety, I want to say Jared Goff. Like, giving it to either of them right now, I don't see it as a problem. But I guess we'll have to wait till the end of the year. Somebody else might get in the conversation. I just want this nonsense about people acting like Mahomes is in the conversation to stop.
No, Mahomes is having a mediocre year.
Not even the best player on his team right now.
He is not. But, well, still the best player, just not playing.
Well, I'm not taking anything away from him. He's just right now, he's just having a subpar year.
The defense carries them every week, and then
the good news
they basically
is he's still good enough to win games.
Yeah, because when you are Jordan, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who. He said, "Oh, all my wide receivers hurt. We gonna make this work. No problem. Oh, I'm gonna use this rule that you can't knock my head off on the sideline, and I would do this little juke move to get around you and then get an extra 20 yards.
That's
And
crazy.
I'm gonna run over your safety
That
on the
shit was
goal line.
hilarious.
Dog, he should that's the I don't even know who he is. I don't know his name, and that's good because I wouldn't want no one to know what my name is after I just let Patrick Mahomes, who don't be in the weight room for real, run over me like that.
You get trucked by a quarterback, you retiring?
Depends on the quarterback.
I don't think it does.
I think it does. You think
We're talking-
Josh Allen truck you? Josh Allen truck you? You retire?
Okay, maybe, but we're also still talking about a position that's like protected by the referees, so they're not taking hits, so they very rarely give out hits.
Hey, Josh Allen, it is a challenge to take that man down every single time. It is an adventure.
He's got that goon.
Trent
strength.
Richardson. Trent Richardson's another one that I wouldn't really want running at me.
Yeah, Trent Richardson has this problem where he plays quarterback like he's a running back.
He does.
And he takes punishment for it, and he needs to chill out.
Trent Richardson, in all honesty, should not be playing. He shouldn't have played last year. He should have not played all of last year, stayed on the bench, learned things, and then started this year. But you know how the NFL is. They're not about to be like, oh, you a first round pick, you better get out there, produce. Why you still cheap?
The Colts would be good if they just had the courage.
Yo, dog. They would make the playoffs with Joe Flacco. The quarterback.
It's the only thing keeping Flacco out of the MVP conversation right now is they won't let him play.
Yo, get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. We ain't got to do that.
Why not?
Yo,
you ever seen a man completely change the way a team plays so significantly?
That's because Joe Flacco, at his old age, is just like, fuck it, they down there. And it just, chucks it. And then he has Alec Pierce, who's like, I'm down here, bro, I got you. And it's catching the shit.
MVP.
Hey, that's all good, baby. That's fine. That's fine. So what we about to go with next, man?
I think we should stick with it because my MVP favorite for the first few weeks was Baker Mayfield, and he was playing that good those first few weeks. But now we are looking at a landscape where he's going to be without Godwin for the rest of the year, and he's going to be without.
Oh, he's gone for the rest of the year?
Godwin, I think, is done for the year, and Mike Evans is done until at least the week 11 bye, they're talking.
Ooh. Oh, man. Who else are their wide receivers?
Some dudes. I mean, I don't know.
Some dudes? Oh, man, that's not good. Weren't we just praising them like last week?
We were trying to say, it was either last week or the week before, we were trying to argue that might be the best duo in the league.
Oh, man. Damn. Look at it. We talk about them, and then now they gone. At least Mike Evans will be back.
I mean, but hamstrings are tricky, though. Like, I was afraid the way he reacted to landing on the ground, I was afraid that it, like, all the way tore. And it sounded like it might not have.
Like, dog. Like as hard as he hit, like, the ground trying to catch that ball, I thought he looked like he just...
Like, bro, like
he was in a car crash. Take your leg. He's not even on your fantasy team. Who cares?
I know, but I like him.
I feel you. Mike Evans be going crazy. This might be the first year Mike Evans don't get 1,000 yards because he might be out too much.
Look, we need to start like a GoFundMe. If Mike Evans is able to return to play this year, they have to force feed him the ball. Get Mike Evans to 1,000.
Yeah, so we get them 11 years in a row, 1,000. Yeah, bro. We need it. Need it. But nah, one thing that I will say that the Bucks have going for them, or at least what they had going for them before everybody got hurt, their running game, even with no matter who it was back there, they were able to run the ball, and they were running the ball consistently against the Ravens. It's just that eventually they got stopped, and then the Ravens didn't stop scoring. So
I think they figured out that Rashad White's just not the guy. They
I hope
seem
it's the
to
other
look a
guy.
lot. They seem to look a lot better running the ball when they just lean on Bucky Irvin and was it like Sean Tucker?
Sean Tucker, yes.
He's
I
playing
hope
all
they
right.
give Sean Tucker.
Like Rashad White, and this is experience from like last year, I believe, is when I had him in fantasy. It's just the dude just ain't it.
Yeah, man. And it sucks that it's not working out for him because it be times where I see him, he be running hard with the ball, and I'll be like, "Yo, this is how a running back's supposed to run," and then he'll just get drive after drive with nothing, absolutely nothing, and I just be like, "Damn, is it the blocking? Is it him just not seeing the hole? Like what's going on here?" But the moment you put in Irvin and Sean Tucker, everything's fine again.
Speaking of running backs, Saquon Barkley made his return to New York this weekend.
With cheers.
And went yeah. Imagine you leave and go to not just any team, but a division rival. And you come back and they're cheering for you because the fans are so upset that the front office let you go. They don't really care that you went to a division rival.
Because the team is trash.
Then he styled on him.
He did.
He was crazy.
Yo, Jalen Hurts stole one of his touchdowns, man. Out here being a touchdown thief.
He's been doing that to everybody.
I know he did, but this is the revenge game. You could have let him get. I wanted Saquon to get like 3 touchdowns on the Giants.
And the crazy part, the revenge could have been worse. They got a mic'd up clip of Sirianni being like, "I want to get you the record," and he was just like, "No, I'll let the young kids eat." Like I got enough, and I was like, "Damn, I would have." He must really tell the truth when he says he has no ill will towards New York, because I would have been like, I'm trying to break my record, their record.
Dog, I would have been like, bury him.
Yeah.
Bury him. We are, how far am I away from the record? Oh, we about to do? Keep going.
You remember
what we stopping for?
You remember Rocky IV when Drago was like, I must bury him.
Yes. Dog, I am from the Jimmy Johnson school of sportsmanship. Stop me. If you want to score, if you want to see me stop scoring and not run it up, stop me. That's where I come from.
However, even with AJ Brown bringing some dynamic back to that offense, I get this weird feeling that I just don't trust the Eagles.
Because you shouldn't. You shouldn't trust the Eagles. Nick Sirianni is still the head coach of the Eagles. Therefore, they are not a serious outfit. They have one of the best rosters in the NFL, but they don't have what it takes from a CEO standpoint, Nick Sirianni, to get it done. I've been on this that he needs to go. And the longer he stays, the worse they will be. And I'm perfectly fine with that. From a Cowboy standpoint, I hope they suck. I want them to be trash. Keep them. But the Eagles will not succeed with Nick Sirianni as their head coach. So that ship has sailed.
I'm going to present you with 3 head coaches who have all received scrutiny in the past week to month. Right. From both outside fan bases and from within their own fan bases about you need to rebuild your roster starting tomorrow. Which one of these 3 dudes are you taking, right? You got Sirianni, Zach Taylor, and the guy who wants to sell me car insurance out of San Francisco.
Wait, who hits him? Shanahan?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Shanahan all day. That's easy.
You sure?
Yeah. Out of
You
those
sure?
three, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Do you know he has never beat Andy Reid? Do you
I
know
mean,
who has beat Andy Reid? The other two.
hey, you also know who lost to Andy Reid?
All of them.
The other two. The other two. That's fine. I can't hold it against him that he lost to Andy Reid. That's okay.
I don't know,
But
man.
if I'm trying to build something, I would take Shanahan because for one thing for sure, that offense is gonna be cooking.
Is it?
I mean, most of the time.
We will get into it.
As of right now. I might shit. We might as well get into it now.
We will
We
get
here
in.
now.
No. We'll save that for the end. But we'll get into Brandon Ayuk because Brandon Ayuk has swerved an allegation from me, even though probably a lot of people will agree he ain't looked too good. They can't keep anybody healthy, and that's not a this year thing. This happens all the time with the 49ers. They can't keep nobody
Except
healthy.
for last year.
Okay, so they have 1 year where they get lucky and nobody really gets hurt.
They were the fourth healthiest team in the NFL last year.
I don't know.
And then already and that is why I knew that this was not going to be their year.
I just feel like a lot of people don't pile on the criticism on San Francisco like they probably should. And I think it's just because, they like the Eagles, they've stuck around at the top of the NFC for a while and they've made a couple Super Bowl runs. They keep running into the same team, which I mean, like, you can't complain about because the same thing's happening on the other side of the NFL. Anybody in the NFC or AFC who wants to go anywhere is going to run into the same team at this point.
Yeah.
And then they've built a 2-game lead in the conference already. So we're already staring at the Invitational is coming. I mean, you got to get used to it already. They got a 2-game lead.
The Patrick LeBron Mahomes Jr. Invitational. You know what time it is. But if we go with my prediction, I still believe. And I told you who was going to do it. Told you who was going to knock them out of the playoffs. Y'all.
Maybe.
I mean, I got to make it, but I still think I'm going to make it somehow. That's just me personally.
I think, and y'all can accuse me of being a homer all you want, but it was, and then my memory's not that good, and I don't feel like looking it up, but it was either the Super Bowl year or the year we went into the AFC Championship and lost. I believe we went into the bye or out of the bye at 4-5, and we're 3-4 right now. And with our next games being Philly, Baltimore, and then I think Vegas, 4-5, 5-4 isn't really outside of the realm of possibility. I'm just saying the team has historically gotten hot in December. We'll just see.
Hey, man, I have all the belief in y'all that anyone can have because I personally think y'all are built to beat them. Even with your subpar ass defense, y'all still find a way to muddy the game up. And then you have an offense that can keep up and do its thing. That matches up well against the vaunted Kansas City defense. And it's always a close game, and it's always a fun one. So I would love to see it in the playoffs again and that y'all get another chance. But we shall see.
You know what I'm sick and tired of, though?
What's that?
The New York Jets.
Get your shit off, my bro.
And then even there's really nothing to talk about. This is the third week in a row now where they have fixed a problem that wasn't really a problem because the real problem is the one calling the shots. And it's that shit quarterback they got.
Ooh, shit quarterback. Talk your shit.
They went out there, they fired Salah, they still keep losing games. They changed their signal caller, still keep losing games. They went out and got Devontae Adams in the most transparent trade ever. They still losing games. And not only did they lose this past weekend, they got they butt blasted by the Steelers, who threw Russell Wilson out there for the first week and dropped a ton of points on them hoes.
I was about to be like, Russell Wilson looked not terrible.
No, but
He didn't have the best first quarter, but every other one after that, I can't hate.
because he's so corny, he's still got the stink of those Denver days. At least in like the media. Aaron Rodgers is supposed to be the favorite. He's supposed to be one of the best quarterbacks of all time. And I'm not trying to act like he had bad times in Green Bay when he did. He had some great times in Green Bay. But what we're seeing right now is awful, and they seem to change everything but the actual problem. They played better with Zach Wilson.
Their problem is that, and it's also Aaron's problem. Aaron doesn't want he's very particular on how he wants the offense to go. It's the reason him and LaFleur in Green Bay got into arguments and everything all the time, because Aaron Rodgers doesn't like motion. In this day of modern NFL, you need motion. Or else, if the defense could just look at what you're doing, even if the defense isn't trying to make you think it's something else, you gotta at least do motion just to see if they're in zone or man. And then he blames everybody else but himself, except for this week. This week he finally took some accountability. He said that we all suck, I suck, everybody sucks, which is a little bit of accountability because it's mostly him. The defense has done their job.
He still went in there crying about what's the point in answering y'all's questions because y'all are just going to take what you want to hear anyway because he's a crybaby. And I'm sick of him. And I am so glad I'm not a Jets fan because I don't know if I could put up with this bullshit.
The Jets fan that I know at work, he posted a status. He says, if in 15 years we trade for Jordan Love, I'm never being a Jets fan again.
They just used it 3 times.
I'm never being a Jets. He said he's done. He said he's over it.
We've all had, at least I've had, I'll be completely transparent. I've had one of those, this might be it moments with my team.
Really? What was your this might be it moment?
Oh my God. It was.
Was it Marvin Lewis?
It was during Marvin Lewis's tenure. It was the year they finally fired him. I think I was on one of because they had kept him from the previous year because of that win against Baltimore that sprung the Bills to the playoffs.
Yes,
and they just kept him for some reason. And I was just like, if they give him one more, I might be done.
I remember that.
Then they fired him, and things got worse before they got better, which is what I tell everybody who is in that situation. It might get worse before it gets better.
It needs to. That's how you get the good pick, the great pick, and hopefully you get the right player in and good draft class, and then you can make some things happen. Maybe not that absolute next year, but the year after that is when you build on that one.
You ever had that moment, or are you there kind of like right now?
So I've never been there. I'm not even there now. As you know, usually what happens if I get upset with my team, I just stop calling them the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I start calling them the team that plays in Dallas, the team the underachieving team that loses in the playoffs all the time. I just never really have reached that point. I've gotten to the point now that they will not get my money, which is why anytime Hater Bowl is talked about, I'm like, no, thank you. I don't know. My homeboy wants me to go to the Commanders Cowboys game, and I'm like, I'm not giving them money. No, they're like, but it's the Commanders, huh?
If it's in DC, you're not giving them any money.
I know that. I still don't want to support him. I don't want to be there.
You don't want to
I'm
see Jaden
good.
Daniels? I want to see Jaden Daniels.
I kind of don't want to see him style on my team. I'm good. I can watch that at the crib.
Don't look at it that
I
way.
don't, I don't need. Nah. I'm good. I don't need. Hey, shout out to Jaden Daniels. I love everything that he's doing. I take that back. I love everything that he's doing, minus that he's doing it for the Commanders. And other than that, I wish him the best. But I don't need to be in person to watch. If I will go to the game, I want my team to at least be competent.
I know exactly how you feel because I watched the first half of the Baltimore game last night and had that same thing. It was like, man, are you fun to watch? But I fucking hate the Ravens. And then I remember I talked a lot of shit about how I ain't watching this other shitty ass game of San Diego because I refused to call them LA and Arizona, and here I am watching it, and you're texting me about stuff that's going on in the Baltimore game when they were up multiple scores, and I'm like, bro, you got to know I am not watching that no more. I'm done. They don't got a chance to lose. I'm not here.
It was right after that bomb from I saw that man Lamar just launched that bitch to the Bateman for a touchdown. I was like, ooh, this is nice. That was fine.
You texted me and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I was like, oh, my bad. I get that.
Shit. Speaking of divisional quarterbacks, there was an event that took place in the Bengals Cleveland game.
Ah, yes. Something happened.
The nasty man and all of his nastiness.
Yep.
Popped his Achilles.
That we all saw on TV.
Exactly.
You can see it.
It sparked a conversation in the NFL world about whether it's okay to boo your guy, and because the conversation quickly changed from is it okay to boo any guy, or is it okay to boo your guy when he's down on the ground hurt?
Mm-hmm.
And the weird part about that conversation is before it kind of morphed, it's like people forgot why a lot of people don't like Deshaun Watson.
I feel what you're saying.
I was on the side that didn't want him playing at all, and I can't believe he got 3 years. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And all these people are coming out about how you can't do that to your guy. It's classless. It's this. It's that. And I'm just like, first of all, regardless of how you feel about it, you need to add the context of why people might celebrate the downfall of somebody, right? Now, we can agree that for a lot of people, they seem to use that as a catalyst because he was playing badly for their team to now start booing him, when before they had put up with the allegations. I agree that is something to criticize. But then I heard something Stephen A. Smith said that I thought resonated very well with this, because a lot of people wanted to speak up about how it's classless this and it's classless that, and they shouldn't do it. And Stephen A. Smith made a point of, when do we ever give the fans the high road or praise for taking the high road? Because nobody does. It's like it's expected. So at the same time, I feel like you have to understand the situation before you just immediately criticize a situation like what we had in Cleveland.
I feel like it's nuances to this. As you pointed out before, a lot of these fans who are booing, I feel like it's wrong to boo your guy when he's injured. If you were booing him because if he's injured and you're booing, you're happy that he's injured, then that's not cool. That's not cool at all, even if it's Deshaun Watson. But it's Deshaun Watson. So I just don't like them booing him for the reason they booed him. Now, if you was some people like us who've been called nasty man to nasty man and didn't really want him to come back, We ain't seen no reason for him to. He hasn't been good. So my opinion on Deshaun Watson has not changed. I don't think he is a good person. He should not have gotten all that money guaranteed by the Cleveland Browns, and he probably should not be playing in the NFL for the acts that he was doing. But they gave him a chance. They gave him the money. He went out there. He's been trashed since then, since day one of being with the Cleveland Browns. And only thing that I hold against the fans is that if he was good, you would never hear anything negative about Deshaun Watson. They would never say nothing bad about him. They would be there singing his praises. The heinous things like some of those fans was wearing the first day Deshaun Watson came back.
I remember some of that.
Yeah, dog. Wild. So no. Hey man. It is what it is.
Yeah, man, it's tried and true where in all these situations, unfortunately, if you play well, people will forgive certain things, even if they shouldn't, because at the end of the day, it's probably not.
Most things.
Know. Because at the end of the day,
they're great cologne.
Yeah.
It's a great cologne, dog. It'll make you like totally forget some things. Be like, damn. But what
I do think we need to recognize is how the Cleveland organization deserves it a little bit.
They do.
They deserve the contract hell they're going to be in now for hitching their wagon to a dude with that many allegations. And it's not like they gave him the money after a lot of the settlements happened. It was before.
They did.
And
let's not just alleviate everybody else that was trying to give Deshaun Watson money. The Falcons were trying to give him money, not as much as the Browns, but we're trying to sign him. The Miami Dolphins were trying to sign him. Multiple teams were trying to bring in Deshaun Watson, no matter of what his allegations were. They decided they were going to take the gamble. The gamble to them was that they only had to deal with the bad PR. They thought the football part of it would work itself out and be good. But not only did you get the bad PR, but then he's not even good. He's not average. He has been the worst quarterback in the past 2 years. And now he has a ruptured Achilles. He's gone the rest of this year. He's probably gone a good majority of next year. And then it's not even safe to say he may not even get, like, he might get cut and then may never be seen on the football field again. And then Cleveland Brown organization is going to have to take that hit. And it's going to be a big hit, like $100-something million in dead money hit. If they cut Deshaun Watson.
The only chance they got, because I think they're going to cut him. And it's very telling because you knew the head coach didn't want him starting anymore. And you want to say it was probably from high on up above to keep forcing him in there to see if just eventually he finally gets it going. He just never did. But it's very telling when after it happens, DTR comes in and the very first play, they're just like, fuck it, go route, chuck it at him.
Yep.
Like that's not usually what these coaches do when the backup comes in play one. And the only chance they have is cutting him and then trying to draft a guy next year and hoping that he works out on the rookie deal when he's not taking the cap hit. But like they're going to have a hard time keeping players together. I've already seen teams have started to contact them to go after Myles Garrett.
As they should. I would. Like, come on down, dog.
That's like the heart and soul of that team.
Hey, one team's downfall is another team's gain, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Dog, hey, for real. Hey, couldn't happen to a better franchise. and a better owner.
Oh, I hate the Browns. Like,
I know you do.
I'm just glad we got a win in Cleveland because that's not a normal thing for us. But let's
that is not what y'all do.
Let's do
it's actually the opposite of what y'all do.
Shut up. Let's do some buying and selling.
All right, I got you. Who's your first buy, man?
I want to buy. Just saying Detroit's so boring, but like,
so who cares?
They're going crazy right now, bro. I think Detroit can still win their division, even without replacing Aiden Hutchinson with a piece right now.
The reason that I agree with you that they can win their division, their defense isn't the best, but their offense is good enough to overcome what the defense. That offense is humming, dog. What's my man? I forgot their offense coordinator's name. It's something Ben Johnson, I think it is.
Ben Johnson,
but whatever it is, yeah, he is the maestro out there with them plays, and they just be wide. They just be butt naked open, and golf just looking, be like, let me pick which one. Though these next two games, they might not be having Jalen Williams because he might get suspended for PEDs.
I think he did. I don't think it's.
Oh, did he get suspended? Okay, he's not a bite anymore. Okay,
no.
Well, he's gone for two. Damn, my man can't. He got it. He stays suspended, don't
he? Yeah, and I think he might be in danger of them just being like, all right, it's time to go.
Oh man,
he's like never on the field.
I feel you, but that's a talent that sometimes when he's super talented, sometimes you got to fuck up a few times. He's only fucked up twice.
The only thing that I think threatens what the Lions are trying to do is just the fact that for some reason that division's really good. And it's not like they're building it's not like they're building a huge lead on these guys. Like they only are in first right now off the tiebreaker versus the Vikings, who don't seem to be going away. And Green Bay is the kind of scrappy team that always seems to get the win. And then the Bears, it's not like they're going anywhere.
Nah. The first thing people try to knock the Bears for when they say, because they're 4-2, and when people were like, "Yo, they're on the up and come, they're coming up, man." The first thing they want to say is they ain't beat nobody. Well, the first thing you have to do when you become a better team is beat the teams you're supposed to beat. So they not out here losing the teams they shouldn't lose to. So that's a win. And a win's a win, baby. It don't matter.
In the same argument, when you look at our season, I would be able to swallow those losses to Baltimore and Washington much better if we had beat New England. You know what I mean? Like, you at least got to beat the teams you're supposed to. And then with the Bears, I think the only real disadvantage the Bears have is the youth side of it. Just like every other quarterback in the division has been around a little bit and knows what it takes. The only thing the Bears have to worry about is when they get into crunch time, has Caleb developed enough to take over a game at the NFL level? We don't know until we see it. And I'm not saying we won't see it, but they're the only team in that division that I think has to answer that question. Well, in Minnesota because it's Darnold, but
I was about to be like, I'm about to say Minnesota. Maybe.
I just think Minnesota's more
like.
Yeah, but Minnesota's more complete than Chicago is, where like I don't think they need to have him bail them out.
Are they though?
Yeah, their teams are pretty complete.
I feel like their teams are kind of similar. The only thing the Vikings have over the Bears is that they have a generational talent at wide receiver, the best wide receiver in the NFL on offense, and the Bears don't. They have good players. They have good offensive players. They have good wide receivers. They ain't Justin Jefferson. Other than that, I feel like the both of their defenses are good, very good. And then everyone looking at the quarterback kind of like, so how good are you?
long as he plays mistake free, they should be okay.
Yes.
I mean, they could have beat the Lions Sunday.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
Who you
I
buying
was
this
about to-
one?
Oh, baby. It's in the NFC. His name. And I'm buying a quarterback in their team. And it is Geno Smith and the Seahawks. That's who I'm buying.
I thought you were gonna just go straight into talking about the Eagles.
Oh, you thought I was good? No. We buying. Unless you want me to buy stocks in the what's the shit called in stocks when the dip.
No, I thought you were gonna go to
That's
straight
what.
to sell. Don't worry.
Oh no.
Tell me about the Seahawks.
Nah. Okay, so Geno Smith, quiet as kept this year. Do you know who leads the NFL in passing yards this year?
Geno Smith.
Geno Smith. You know how well Geno Smith has been playing when his offensive line is made of hopes and dreams, and he is playing amazing hero ball. And I know when people hear hero ball, you think something like he's trying too hard and he's trying to do too much. I'm calling it hero ball because every time he throws that bitch, someone is in his face. He getting hit. I believe he's one of the most pressured quarterbacks in the NFL, yet he is still balling. And he has 3 good receivers to throw to. The defense, at one point in time, they were looking downtrodden, but they're starting to get people back from injury. And I think the Seahawks are going to win the NFC West, and they could possibly make noise in the NFC playoffs.
So I agree that they'll probably win the West, only because San Francisco is falling apart and the Rams themselves are also kind of falling apart. And I just don't think Arizona's got what it takes to actually keep up with anybody. The one thing I'm worried about with Seattle, I want to see how they cope with Metcalf's MCL sprain because he's probably going to miss some time. However, if they do what I think they should do and lean on Kenneth Walker, who is playing out of his fucking mind right now, I think they'll be fine. I think JSN and Lockett should be able to weather the storm together. JSN's pretty good number 3. I don't see him losing a lot of production. Is moving up to number 2. The one thing they're going to miss is that real vertical threat that Metcalf gives you. But if they weather it, division champ doesn't seem too far off.
Nah, man, I'm with it. Who's your sell?
I'm selling the Colts.
Selling the Colts.
The Colts are
as currently constructed.
Yeah, that's why I'm glad you knew where I was going. I'm selling the Colts because they're supposed to be in the mix of wild card teams, and I think understandably so. They have a scrappy defense. They have an offense that I think has potential. However, constant nagging injuries with Jonathan Taylor continuously being sidelined, and the fact that I don't think they're starting their best quarterback, weirdly. I just don't see how they can keep up in the AFC when you have teams like Cincinnati and sneaky Miami, who has kind of not fallen apart all the way with the potential return of Tua, having to hold off teams like that in the wild card, and the fact that Denver's not really falling off. So those last wild card spots are going to be very tight like they usually are in the AFC. And I just don't see the Colts having the firepower with Anthony Richardson playing running back instead of quarterback.
Anthony Richardson. And honestly, I completely understand why Anthony Richardson went into the draft. But last year, he should have still been in Florida. I understand why he went into the draft because, hey man, you can't give up on that. What was he like? Top 3 pick money? Yeah, you can't give up on that. You got to take it when you can. I think he was top 3.
I think he went 5th.
Did he go 5? I can't remember, bro. I know number 1 was Bryce Young. Number 2 was C.J. Stroud. I couldn't remember who number 3 was. I know number 4 was
It was a defensive player because remember,
yeah.
the
What's
Texans
his name?
drafted back in.
Yeah. Will Anderson. Will Anderson
Yeah.
was yeah. I can't remember, but top 5 pick, whatever. I know you can't give up on that money, but man, he should really still be at Florida, and he should have came out this year if he was going to really do something, because you're looking at all the growing pains that comes with watching a quarterback who should not be playing right now, and he looks the part. He is, when you see him, you'd be like, yeah, I can see him being a number 1 pick, but he's just not all the way ready. And if you could put Joe Flacco's mind into in quarterback skills into Anthony Richardson, that man be probably the best quarterback in the NFL right now. But that's not how it works. But hey, I understand and I get it. So I sat here long and hard for myself because I really wanted to do the Philadelphia Eagles. But
might as well. I'm not going to let you talk about him in the next segment.
What's the next segment?
Over and underrated.
Oh yeah, that's the one you said I can't talk about him in. Oh, then fuck it. Philadelphia Eagles.
I present you.
Philadelphia Eagles. Even though AJ Brown is a beast, even though they play in the NFC East, also known as the NFC least, because I personally think the only good team in that division is the Commanders, and I don't think the Eagles are good. Their defense still, even though they played the Giants, and their defensive line ate because Daniel Jones couldn't do nothing. A lot of those sacks weren't even his fault. He was just, as soon as he did his little 3, got on his back foot for that 3-step drop, he had people in his face and he couldn't do nothing about it. But I just don't see it for the Eagles, man. Their offense looked better, but I don't see them continuing to be better. Their defense shows up when it wants to. And Jalen Hurts is sometimes. We have still not seen him get back to his MVP form of 2 years ago. We tried to blame it on injury last year. I do thank him for helping me get my back-to-back fantasy football championship. Appreciate that. But that's about it. That's all he's been good for. Fantasy points.
Yeah, that's a team that like screams out to me that they don't have a leader anywhere, and specifically the head coach.
That man gone.
They're just coasting on the talent that they do have to beat some of these teams like a New York.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if they do make the playoffs, you'll see it happen again. I just don't see them going all the way to the Super Bowl this time. So good luck to them, I guess.
I don't see them winning their first playoff game if they make it to the playoffs. They want to get cooked again.
I think it'll be a matchup thing because it'll likely be at home because they're probably going to win the division. So it'll be a matchup thing. But like you're looking at the way the NFC is kind of piling out. They'll probably have their first playoff game because it's very likely they may be the 4th seed out of the division winners, which will lead their first playoff game to be like Detroit, Minnesota, Green Bay kind of a thing.
Yeah, I got you.
So good luck with no leaders. Don't let Sam Darnold come in there and beat you at home in the playoffs.
Oh, do you know how hilarious that would be if Sam Darnold walked into Philadelphia, Lincoln Financial Field, and told the Eagles to hold this L?
We would have to record a special episode to just let you get off all your hate, so we can talk about other stuff on the main one episode. Just lay it all out. It'd be like 35 minutes of just jokes.
35 minutes of me laughing. That's what it'll be.
Shit. Let's close it out with some over and underrated players that we want to talk about.
All
And
right.
I'm gonna start. Let's do underrated first because that's nice. That's nicer.
Indeed. It is nicer.
For me, I think the most underrated player in the NFL is man like Dexter Lawrence, Sexy Dexy.
I'm not mad at that pick.
Do you know who the leading sack team in the NFL is?
I believe it's the New York Giants.
It is the New York Giants, powered
Yeah.
by Sexy Dexy, who is,
Mm-hmm.
by my eyeball test and my infinite wisdom, the second best interior D lineman in the entire NFL behind only Chris Jones.
Mm.
He is a one-man wrecking crew who has the Giants defense being generationally wasted by that offense. And no, not even by the offense. Dexter Lawrence's career is being wasted by Daniel Jones. The Giants' offense, to me, is a quarterback away from being something. I don't think the offensive line is that bad. Devin Singletary is a serviceable running back. Malik Neighbors is one of the best young receivers in the league. Wan'Dale Robinson is emerging as a pretty good number two. Some teams, it kind of doesn't matter what tight end you throw in there. Daniel Jones and Brian Daboll are holding the Giants back. But Dexter Lawrence is having himself a great year. He's a one-man wrecking crew. I love the guy. He was one of my favorite parts of watching that Sunday night game against the New York, was watching him wreck my offensive line just because of how good he is and the fun nickname being called Sexy Dexy. But that's my underrated.
Underrated players. So, my underrated player. You know who my underrated player is actually? George Pickens. George Pickens. And I'm out here praising the Steelers. This is outrageous. But George Pickens is underrated because this man has been through all of these trash-ass quarterbacks for his entire. And I'm not calling what's his name, Justin Fields trash. He is not included in this.
Calling Kenny Pickett trash.
Yes. Mason Rudolph, whatever his damn name is, trash. They are trash. That's who he had to have as his quarterbacks. And he hasn't been able to get off. The moment they put Russ in there, and Russ someone who is more willing to throw a deep ball and just be like, here, go up and get it, my guy. And George Pickens was like, my prayers have been answered. Finally, a somewhat competent quarterback. That is all I've ever wanted. And he's been able to show off against the vaulted New York Jets defense how special of a player he can be when given the opportunity. So I think the rest of the year, I think this is his time to shine.
George Pickens is an unbelievable talent, but he's also another in a long line of Steeler receivers with some sort of character issue. Let's run down the list. George Pickens. George Pickens is already entering his diva stage. Well, he might calm down. True, and there are some frustrations currently so we'll see. Claypool, Smith-Schuster.
He what you call it? Claypool was never good enough to be doing that.
And then Antonio Brown. Yeah, the only one, and Antonio Brown was like the ultimate crash out. But like, you're not wrong. Yeah. Like, if you do one of those, like one of these is not like the other, it's definitely Claypool. He did have a very good. He did have a good rookie season there, though.
What has he done since?
Complain.
get traded a couple times. That man
and
been
then,
on more
and then complain
teams.
there too.
I think he been on hella teams now. That's not a good sign. Not
But
a good sign at all.
let's move on to overrated so we can do some hateration.
Hateration in his dancery.
Overrated player for me, Justin Herbert.
Ah, I knew you couldn't wait to get this one off.
I
This
have
man been
been
hate.
I
My
have
man
been
been
told
hating.
I have been told for 5 years now. See? Yeah, 5 years. That
Yeah.
Justin Herbert is an unbelievable talent.
Yeah.
But I'm not seeing much more than Phillip Rivers and Justin Herbert. Okay. You might put up
Which
some
isn't.
numbers.
I don't see
But
anything wrong with that.
did you watch the San Diego game last night? Or were you watching Lamar stylize on people?
I was watching Lamar stylize on people, and then when that game went off, I went to bed.
Justin Herbert, while he did have a lot of passing yards, they scored no touchdowns last night and lost 15 to who cares?
15 to 17.
Garbage. He's so fucking boring. And I'm tired of people giving him excuses. Coach this, coach that. He's got a new coach. I don't care. He's just not as good as what everybody keeps trying to tell me. Stop putting him up there with your Mahomes and your Burrows and your Jacksons. He ain't that. I think he's closer to hanging out with Jalen Hurts from that draft class than he is to hanging out with Burrow from that draft class.
Oh.
And I'm tired of it. I'm not trying to say he's bad. He's just incredibly overrated. And like the NFL had that freaking survey they did where the players picked Josh Allen, but I think they got it wrong. And I like hating on Josh Allen too. It's fun, but it's Justin Herbert, man. And I just don't see it.
Okay. So this is when I will shoot Justin Herbert some bail because I don't really think Justin Herbert's overrated. And I know you don't. Everything I'm about to say is an excuse, but I'm cool with that. That man had Staley as his head coach. Number one. Number two, he be delivering that ball. He be throwing it, doing his thing. Before this year, when he actually did have weapons, those weapons were not there most of the time because they were always hurt. And then your second best receiver was Mike. I'll do what I feel like it sometimes. Williams, who's now in the Jets, doing the exact same thing. This year, this the reason that his numbers aren't amazing or even like something to write home about. They are a run first team. That is what Jim Harbaugh is about. He is about running that ball. And that's what they do. If they throw in the ball, it's because they got to, not because he want to. And the film junkies love Justin Herbert because fundamentally and how he does it from quarterbacking, he is good quarterbacking. And most of his throws will be good on target throws. It's usually who he's throwing it to who falls short. So that is me and my defense of Justin Herbert.
I have two counterpoints that I want to use. And one is we seem to always have excuses for Herbert when it comes to coaching style and coaching systems. And these are not excuses. I feel like we, not you, but we as a general collective, I don't think these are excuses that we afford to other young quarterbacks like a Trevor Lawrence or a Sam Darnold. And then counterpoint number two, Justin Herbert has now been outplayed for 3 years by a quarterback that was given up on and traded away from his team to get somebody else in to win a Super Bowl. and that man is Jared Goff. So Justin Herbert is on the Goff tier. So if we want to pretend Goff's not on the Mahomes, Burrow, Jackson, Allen tier, then Justin Herbert should not be on the Burrow, Allen, Mahomes tier.
My defense never had him there anyway.
I know you don't. I'm just saying we.
My defense, I was here to be like I think he's good. Putting him with Jared Goff, I rock with that because I don't think Jared Goff is bad. I think Jared Goff is a very good quarterback. Jared Goff has also had the good old draw of, man, he had some great ass offensive coordinators. His offensive coordinators have been great.
Even in LA, he had good ones. Yeah.
My man has been, he went from, don't get me wrong, the Lions was not the right home about when he first got there. Not at all. But when he finally got it together, because he had what's my man name? He was the Colts head coach. My man, I am drawing a blank, and I'm so mad that I'm drawing a blank. He was the Colts head coach that got into the Super Bowl, but they lost to New Orleans. No, not Dungy. The other, he was another black guy. I can't remember his name.
Oh, it was a black dude.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm so mad. Black head coach. Shout out to Google, who's gonna get me through. Not Tony Dungy, damn it. Not Tony Dungy. Why? I know Tony Dungy's is the one everyone goes to. Jim Caldwell. There we go.
Oh, Jim Caldwell.
There it is. Yes, that was his first OC. And then when they got good, it was great. But then Jim Caldwell went away, and then Ben Johnson came, and then that is when it was a lot, and they became greater. But it's cool. My overrated player, my man wouldn't let me, because I wanted to do Hurts so bad, but it's okay. We won't do Hurts.
Yeah, because I feel like we've probably already talked about that. So I said no Jalen Hurts.
Okay. So I'm sitting back here, and I was trying to think of someone overrated. Because there's definitely overrated people. And I would say this with love. And the only reason that I'm gonna say this person is overrated is because of the times when he is dominant are not when the highest of stakes are happening. And I hate to do it because he is on a team of mine. He's on my favorite team. He is a Dallas Cowboy. And his name is Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons, who is an amazing talent and can be one of the most dominant players in the NFL. But when the lights are brightest, when he plays against the better competition in the NFL, he don't show up. He's not clearly as dominant. He's not. And people used to point that out to me, and I would be like, nah, y'all hating, y'all wilding. But then I thought about it. He don't really get, when people used to compare him to TJ Watt, the main thing I would kill that used to kill me about it was TJ Watt, when it is time to get the play, like a closer, he's a closer. Chris Jones is a closer. He might not be doing the most throughout the game, but when it is time to get the game, the end of the game, always there. My man Micah, not there yet. Not saying he won't get there, but at this exact moment, he is not there yet. I'm not even going to kill him about the terrible defense that they are right now, because that's not on him. That's by no means his fault. It is not DeMarcus Lawrence's fault. And it is not Trayvon Diggs' fault, even though he got cooked by Jalen Williams when they were playing the Lions. But that happens. People have off days. But Micah Parsons is my choice.
I am taken aback and shooketh. Because this was a thought when I presented you this topic. This was one of the players that crossed my mind. But I was like, nah, I'm not gonna go after the Rails team. They had a bye, and it's like kind of no point in talking about them during a bye week. But I had never expected you to bring Micah Parsons up. And while I agree with you to a point, because he does kind of have disappears in big games and symptoms. But again, and I think we've said it before, I don't like to compare him to TJ Watt because to me, TJ Watt's a true edge, and Micah Parsons to me is more of an outside linebacker. I think if we were still playing old school 3-4 defenses, Micah Parsons would be a lot better than what we see sometimes. Mm-hmm. He's not really a down lineman, so I feel like a lot of times tackles probably got the size and strength and speed to kind of keep him at bay a little bit. He does have flashes of incredible talent, though, and we've seen it in person.
Absolutely.
And I know it's got to be frustrating to have a defensive player that is that good, but for some reason can't build a consistent status of games. And I don't know, man, but I'll tell you what, though, y'all are coming up on a crossroads where you're going to have to make a very hard decision.
If we got to trade him or not, pay.
I don't know if retaining him is the right choice. But again, I don't know if letting him go is the right choice. And that's why I'm glad I don't have to make these kind of decisions.
I honestly don't know what I would do if I were them. Because it makes
what I would want to see, can you move Parsons interior and play one of the two inside linebacker?
Can you do what? Say it again. My bad.
Can he play? I'm not going to say the mic, but can he play as an inside linebacker?
So he can play linebacker. Because he is a linebacker, but his best skill is rushing the quarterback what he is best at. So that's why I understand what you're saying when you be like he's not a true edge. I 100% agree with you, but that's not what he's best at. What he's best at is rushing the quarterback. He can hold the edge, which he's proven to be doing a lot this year. Because I would defend him again because other people be trying to tear him down, talking about he don't be doing nothing. This year, he's been doing his job. What he is asked to do in that defense is usually to hold in most plays. He has to hold the edge. And he's been doing that pretty well. It's just that the people behind him don't do their job. They be missing the gap. And the gap be wide open, which is why they have one of the worst rushing defenses in the NFL. And why every good running back or every team who's good at running the ball has field days against them because they can't defend it. But hey, tis what it is, man. Tis what it is. Look at you. You didn't think I was going to do that, huh?
I was shook. I was sitting here like, oh, my God. I don't even know what to say. I didn't think he would go after the Cowboys.
I saw your face, man. I saw your face. Hey, I got to keep it real, baby. I got to keep it real.
Hey, man.
Well, it's cool.
Who's the most overrated player in the NFL? He's not a player. It's Jerry Jones.
Man. Oh, man. I want Jerry Jones gone. Damn, those NBA championship rings are gigantic. Oh, my God.
How big? How big?
Bro, I saw it was on Drew Holiday's hand. And Drew Holiday's hand has to be gigantic. And that bitch is like that. I was like, God damn.
When's the Bronny game supposed to be so I can not watch it?
Who's the what?
When's the Bronny game?
Oh, that's the second game. It's Timberwolves and Lakers.
I wasn't watching it anyway. I just want to know.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's gonna be on at 10 o'clock. I'll be awake at 10. I'll probably watch it. I'm not gonna watch the whole thing because that's no. For who? For what? Yo, they got that joint on the pinky. Oh my god, that is crazy. Oh man, that is outrageous. But all right, that is the end of this broadcast. Look at us, hour 15, our longest one. But hey, hope you have a wonderful time. Hope you enjoy yourselves. And yeah, you got any last words, my mans?
I want to give a shout out to Samantha Irvin, who I don't. Is she just going to TNA? Is that what's going on, or AEW?
She is, as of right now, she is leaving WWE to pursue outside avenues and ventures because they wouldn't let her like have the dates she wants to like go be a artist, like a music singer. So she let them know months ago that she was gonna quit or resign so then she can pursue her music career more.
I wanted to shout her out. For someone who only watches WrestleMania every year,
that is what you do,
yes. She was still an absolute talent of a ringside announcer. And even your boy, who didn't really get all the context of the whole American Nightmare thing, even your boy kind of got choked up when she was announcing when he won the championship.
Oh, when she won
during WrestleMania.
Hey man, that was dope. That was dope, bro.
So I wanted to shout her out because it's one of the things I remember from the last few WrestleManias that I've always enjoyed. The ringside announcing. I thought she was a great talent at it.
As Scotland Underwood has said, Samantha Irvin is the greatest ring announcer of all time. I loved what Samantha Irvin had brought to the craft. The way that she would have like personalized interests for people, like how she enunciates their names and shit like that throughout the time, and it just be different. It was really good. It was great. Awesome person from all that it looks like, and I wish her nothing but the best. And I hope she comes back one day. I would love her to come back to WWE if she goes to another company and does her thing that works too. I wish her nothing but the best. But yeah, we definitely lost the real one in WWE, man. And yeah, she's going. I know she's gonna be great doing whatever the hell she want to do. So because she's an extremely talented person. Yeah, extremely talented. But yeah, that is the end for Until the Final Whistle, Volume 8. We will see you at Volume 9. I'll let y'all later, man.
You ever wanted to crash out like the New York or the Minnesota Lynx manager in a press conference?
Hey, man, that was the best. That was some of the best petty work ever. Congratulations to them winning their first championship. What is this, like 20? What the WNBA been around for 28 years? We were going for our fifth. Damn, cold as ice. Cold as ice that woman is, but I loved it. Loved it.